Tesla CEO and billionaire Elon Musk said the US economy will likely face a recession in the near term in an interview with Bloomberg on Tuesday. Welcome to Recession Preppers. Make sure to stay tuned till the end. Concerns have arisen about the health of the US economy right now, as many economists are predicting the country will soon slip into a recession. No disrespect to economists, but their track record for predicting the economy isn't too good as of the people that led large companies, and nobody leads more large high-profile companies than Elon Musk, whose companies are extremely tied to the health of the global economy. And as the CEO of Tesla, Musk must have a unique perspective on what's happening in the economy that is unmatched by virtually any economist. Maybe this is why, when he made such a bold call in the US has already slipped into a recession, and it's only going to get worse. The billionaire has taken to Twitter several times in the recent past to share his thoughts on a possible recession. He responded to a user who asked if the recession is approaching, and Musk said an affirmative yes. He believes some bankruptcies need to happen, cause apparently it's been raining money on fools. So, Musk believes that recession is actually a good thing. His jibe doesn't end there. It's gonna be a rude awakening, allegedly for people who work from home. He thinks COVID-19 has fooled people into thinking it's a good thing to stay at home and work/procrastinate. Musk's recession is a good thing, and work-from-home people will have a rude awakening, sparks global debate, where many people shared their opinion regarding this. Another user asked, how long do you think will the recession last? To which Musk replied, based on past experience, about 12 to 18 months. Companies that are inherently negative cash flow need to die so that they stop consuming resources. Besides Musk, several other top business leaders in the US have flagged concerns about an upcoming recession in the US, speaking 2 days before the Fed's rate hike. Morgan Stanley CEO James Gorman placed the odds of a recession at 50-50, up from an earlier prediction of 30%. Gorman, however, said that a deep or long recession was unlikely. Earlier this month, JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon, without explicitly mentioning a recession, warned of an economic hurricane fueled by the Ukraine war and high inflation. Dimon said his bank is preparing for bad outcomes. Similarly, Wells Fargo CEO Charles Scharf in May said it will be hard to avoid some kind of recession. But he did not expect it to be deep recession. Last week, the Federal Reserve raised interest rates by 75 basis points to a target range of 1.5% to 1.75%. Its steepest hike in 28 years. The measure was undertaken after the data from the Labor Department showed that consumer prices in the US were at a 40-year high, with annual inflation surging to 8.6% in May. Musk has been vocal about how the US is fast approaching a recession. In December of 2021, he said his gut feel was that one would likely happen in the spring or summer of 2022, but no later than 2023. I've been through a few recessions, he said at a tech conference in May. Musk added, and what tends to happen as if you have a boom that goes on too long, you get a misallocation of capital. It starts raining money on fools, basically. Meanwhile, President Joe Biden stressed in an Associated Press interview last week that a recession is still avoidable and urged Americans to stay confident. First of all, it's not inevitable. Secondly, we're in a stronger position than any nation in the world to overcome this inflation. Elon Musk, Nouriel Roubini, and Goldman Sachs Group, Inc. have warned of a growing likelihood that the US economy will fall into recession. Their outlooks will stoke fears of a hard landing of the world's biggest economy as the Federal Reserve jacks up interest rates to counter the fastest pace of inflation in decades. A recession is inevitable at some point. As to whether there is a recession in the near term, that is more likely than not, Musk said in an interview with Bloomberg News editor-in-chief John Micklethwaite in the Qatar Economic Forum in Doha. It is not a certainty, but it appears more likely than not, Musk said. Goldman Sachs economists cut their U.S. growth forecast and warned in a research note that the risk of recession is rising. The Goldman team sees a 30% probability of entering a recession over the next year, up from 15% previously, and a 25% conditional probability of entering a recession in the second year, if one is avoided in the first. That implies a 48% cumulative probability in the next 2 years versus 35% previously. we now see recession risk as higher and more front-loaded. Economists led by Jan Hatzius wrote, "The main reasons are that our baseline growth path is now lower and that we are increasingly concerned that the Fed will feel compelled to respond forcefully to high headline inflation and consumer inflation expectations if energy prices rise further, even if actively slows sharply." In his outlook, Rubini said that he expects a U.S. recession by the end of the year. Measures of consumer confidence, retail sales, manufacturing activity, and housing are all slowing sharply while inflation is high, the chief executive officer of Rubini Macro Associates said on Bloomberg Television. "We're getting very close," he said. Seeking to quell a surge in living costs, the Fed accelerated its monetary tightening campaign last week with its biggest interest rate increase since 1994 that drove fresh losses on Wall Street and has increased the odds of a recession, piling pressure on President Joe Biden. It's always helpful to go back and review recession outcomes so that we can manage our expectations. While every recession varies in terms of length, severity, and consequences, we tend to see more layoffs and an uptick in unemployment during economic downturns. Accessing the market for credit may also become harder, and banks could be slower to lend because they're worried about default rates. Each recession is different, but if we are in a recession currently, it will likely be caused by declines in business spendings, investments, and perhaps trade flows. That helps reconcile robust unemployment today. With the high chance of recession, the U.S. consumer is holding up okay for now, but businesses cutting back on expenditures may be enough to shrink economic activity as the swings can be so large. Given that our two most recent recessions are the financial crisis and the start of the pandemic, both of which were pretty severe, it is quite possible that this coming recession may be milder than recent recessions. That's it for the video. Feel free to share your opinions in the comments below. And don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and press the bell icon to stay updated about our next video.